What's up, everybody? Tim here. Hope everyone had a happy new year. 2020's gone. Now we're in 2021. And for my first video of the year, I'm actually going to combine two of my formats. This is going to be an unboxing the vinyl, but it's also going to be a lost classic. And the band I want to focus on today is Black Sabbath. Now, not the Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath, but rather the Dio era Black Sabbath. I've always preferred the Dio era Black Sabbath to Ozzy. Nothing against the Ozzy stuff, it's all great. But for what I like and the kind of power metal and things that I like, I just always thought the 3 or 4 records that Dio made were just a touch better than the Ozzy. That's just my opinion. It's probably a highly unpopular opinion, but it's still my opinion. So that being said, just to give you guys a little bit of history, Ozzy left Black Sabbath for the second time, I guess, in 1979, and Dio joined the same year. 1980 rolls around. They made their first record with Dio. It's called Heaven and Hell. Fantastic record. Check it out if you've never heard it. Contains the song Neon Nights, Heaven and Hell, Lady Evil, Children of the Sea. Great album. They followed that up. Whoa. I almost fell out of my chair. Okay, we'll just put shit down on the floor from now on. How about that? All right, in 1981, Bill Ward had left and was replaced by drummer Vinny Appice, the younger brother of Carmen Appice, and they released Mob Rules, which of course has the title track Mob Rules, also has Sign of the Southern Cross, Turn Up the Night, Voodoo. I mean, just another amazing record. And then they followed that up in 1982 with the first official Black Sabbath live album called Live Evil. This features Dio singing not only Dio-era songs, but also a handful of Ozzy-era songs. A little bit weird, it is a little bit weird. The two styles of Black Sabbath were very, very different. Ozzy's was more like the occult and dark and things like that, whereas Dio, not that there's not some evil overtones and things in there, but it was a lot more kings and queens and medieval, type shit going on there, as opposed to just, straight up, occultish type themes in the Ozzy era. So, after Live Evil, or during, the making of it or the release of it or whatever, Dio and Vinny both left, and at the time they formed the band Dio. And Black Sabbath went on to become somewhat of a revolving door of musicians, with each album being less and less successful. So Dio thrived for most of the 80s, whereas Black Sabbath really floundered. And after a while, it was only Tony Iommi with a revolving door of cast members. Fast forward a little bit to 1990, Geezer Butler and Dio joined each other on stage to play Neon Nights. They decide they want to get back together. Tony Iommi digs the plan. They initially bring in Cozy Powell to be the drummer, who was the Sabbath drummer at the time. Something happened to him. I'm not really sure. I think he got hurt or something. So they brought back Vinny Appice, who at that point had left Dio and had been doing some other things. So in 1990, you had a complete reunion of the Mob Rules Live Evil era of Black Sabbath. So, they convened to make a new record. And the album was called Dehumanizer, came out in 1992. The first little taste I got of that, if I recall, was on the Wayne's World soundtrack, a song called Time Machine, which was featured on there. And I remember being like 15 or 16, super excited. I was a huge Dio era Sabbath fan, and to hear that song, really just kind of blew me away. And I was so ready for the album that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have it written down here, but I think it came out. I know it came out in the summer of 92. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say June, but I could be wrong about that. I'm sure I'll put a correction on here somewhere, like I typically do. But they made an album called Dehumanizer. As I said, it was released in 1992. I think it peaked at number 44 on the American charts and peaked a lot higher in other parts of the world. Was the most successful album Black Sabbath had done in a decade, and was really a fantastic record. Really, in my opinion, it's right on par with Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. And it's just a great record. Unfortunately, the reunion didn't last long. During the Dehumanizer tour, there was a plan, because Ozzy was on his No More tours, the first No More tours, the first retirement tour he was doing. And there was a plan to have Dio-era Black Sabbath open for Ozzy. I don't know who came up with that plan. Seems a little weird. But Dio was not on board with that and didn't think it was a good idea, so he left. I think he was replaced on the remainder of that tour by Rob Halford, if I'm not mistaken, from Judas Priest. So anyway, you know, Dio goes back to doing Dio. Sabbath goes back to somewhat of a revolving door of musicians for a few years until they get back together with Ozzy. So you know, there's several years of you know, original Black Sabbath member tours and so forth. You know, until years later when you know, the Heaven and Hell, or excuse me, the Mob Rules Dehumanizer era lineup of Sabbath got together under the moniker of Heaven and Hell. I think that was around 2007, and they were together until Dio passed away in 2000. Was it 2009 or 2010? He passed away. I'm not sure. Again, that'll probably be a correction on the thing here. But anyway, you know, back to the album that I want to focus on. It is 1992's Dehumanizer, and the reason is because I didn't realize this was even available on vinyl until I saw an ad come up on my Facebook from Rhino Records, indicating that they had some back in stock, and you know, you could buy them on there. And it's you know, this 1919 edition, or 2019 edition of the record is the same as the 2 CD expanded set Deluxe Edition that came out a few years ago, with not only the original album but a bunch of single mixes, the Wayne's World version of Time Machine, and some live stuff on the end. So this vinyl does have that complete 2 CD set, except in this case it's a 2 record set. I ended up buying it off Amazon because I had an Amazon gift card. You know, and it got here about a week ago. But I've had some issues going on, you know, some personal issues and things going on at home, so I didn't have a chance to make it then. And I did check YouTube to see if there was anybody else that's already opened this up online. So I figured, why not? I haven't done a Lost Classic in a while. I haven't unboxed anything in a while, so why not make this a 2-for-1 special? So with that being said, here it is. This is the 2019 Deluxe 2-record version of Black Sabbath's 1992 record, Dehumanizer. So, you know, I did take this out of the box already, however, it is still in the shrink wrap. So what do you say we open this bad boy up and see what's inside? Alright. I did bring a knife in here in case I needed it. I don't know what happened to it. Let's probably find that before I sit on it. Oh, it's over there. Here's my trusty knife. Alright, let's see if I can... Alright, let's see. You know, I'm still reeling from my shoulder surgery that I had a few months ago. You'd be surprised how hard it is to do something like take shrink wrap off of a package. But, you know, such is life. Okay, so we've taken off the wrapping, which includes the sticker, which, you know, indicates that it is the 2LP expanded Deluxe Edition, 180 gram vinyl. Okay, so here it is. Hopefully everybody can see that. If not, there'll be a graphic above my head. But let's go ahead and open this up and just see what else we have inside. Let me slide everything out of the way here. Get rid of that. Alright, so again, here's the record. Here's the back of the record with a picture of the band. And not only the song titles from the original record, but down at the bottom here, everything that's available on the Deluxe Edition. Alright, pretty cool, huh? So let's go ahead and open this up. I'm going to open it up here first so I can see what's inside. That's pretty badass. Okay, so if we open it up, we see, you know, the double gatefold. And we see 2 different pictures on both sides with the lineup of the band at the time, which was made up again of Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Ronnie James Dio, and Vinny Appice. What I'm assuming, I didn't really look, because again, I've just now opened this up. Not only, I don't see, there may be some liner notes of some sort, I see that over here, but it looks like over here you get a little bit of a biography of, you know, what went on with the making of this record. I'm not going to sit here and read that to you because I'm sure some of you can't stand listening to me talk. You probably don't want to sit here and listen to me read an entire biography of this album, so I will not do that. So anyway, that is the inside of the gatefold. Again, here's the front cover, which I've always thought was pretty cool. And here's the back cover again. So let's see what's inside this bad boy. Alright, so if I open up the first sleeve, I'm going to pull the record out. Let me double check. I don't see anything else in there on this side. Okay, so here's the record. Now I don't remember if there's anything special about this color-wise, so let's be surprised together. And there is not. This is just straight up 180 gram black vinyl. Let's see, on one side it's got the track listing for both sides of this record. And then the flip side of it, it has got a sticker in the middle that is the cover of the album. So that's pretty cool. I was kind of hoping for some like crazy looking blue vinyl, kind of the same color as the cover of the record. You know, I don't want to say unfortunately, because it probably says clearly what it is in the advertisement that I just didn't read. All right, so let's check the other side here and see if there's anything any different. Probably not. All right, and there's no other inserts or anything in there. So let's check this one out. Okay, so again, I think as you can see just right here, this record, much like the first one, has the track listing for this particular record on the one side of the actual vinyl. But in this case, this one's a little bit different in that it's got, I'm sorry, I'm touching the record here, in that it has got a sticker with a picture of the band. Again, the lineup, the Mob Rules, Live Evil, and I guess Dehumanizer lineup of Black Sabbath. So there they are. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let me put that back in here into this anti-static sleeve. That's pretty neat too. Okay, so as I indicated, there's really nothing, you know, there's no other inserts or anything in here, no lyric sheets or anything that I can see, no download cards or whatever. That's pretty cool. Again, this has been one of my favorite records for a long time, Black Sabbath. I don't think it gets enough credit. When people discuss the Dio era of Sabbath, they usually pretty much just focus on Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. You know, and even to some extent, they even focus a little more on when they reformed as Heaven and Hell in 2007. So I think this album gets skipped over a lot, although maybe not by Rhino Records because they did just reissue this on vinyl a couple of years ago, so there obviously is some value to this. But let's see, let me just discuss some of my favorites on this record. So I already mentioned the song Time Machine, which again I heard initially on the Wayne's World soundtrack. And that version is on this record too. It's on the bonus disc. But the the album version of it's a little more raw. It's a little heavier. It's a little more distorted. You know, it's got a little more meat on the bones. You know, as opposed to the kind of slick, somewhat overproduced, you know, version that's on the Wayne's World soundtrack. But again, either way, either version's cool. TV Crimes, which was the single when they released the record. You know, kind of goes into things that were going on at the time with like televangelism and, you know, the crooks and all that involved with that business. And, you know, the video correlates with it perfectly. That's a cool tune. That's a really, really cool tune. Master of Insanity, another great tune, you know, pretty upbeat, you know, pretty fun tune. And then my favorite song on the entire record is a song called I. Just the letter I. You know, great song, you know, has this kind of weird, you know, eerie kind of guitar lick to it, and then it just really, really kicks in, and it's a really, really heavy tune. So those are a few of my favorites. There's not a bad song on the record. You know, there's some other ones, Sins of the Father, which is, you know, a bit of a slow tune. Buried Alive, which is about mid-tempo. You know, After All, Letters from Earth, great tunes. So, again, highly overlooked record. So, you know, I'm pretty stoked to, you know, be here, to be able to do a Lost Classic, as well as go ahead and do an unboxing of sorts and go ahead and open up the record and take a look at it for the first time for myself, as well as for anybody that maybe did not know this was out or hadn't seen it or wanted to know what it looked like before they got their own. Again, you can pick this up off the Rhino Records website. And it's probably a little bit cheaper on there. I went to Amazon because I had a gift card, but I did have to buy it from like an outside vendor via Amazon, so it wasn't on Prime or anything like that. But again, you know, if you want to do that, you can save a few bucks by going to Rhino, you know, however you want to do it. But that's it. You know, again, that is one of my favorite Black Sabbath records. This is Dehumanizer, released in 1992. You know, go check that out if, you know, that's something you're interested in. Like I said earlier, you know, they've got, you know, we've got a few other, you know, fantastic Dio era records to go with that. Of course, Heaven and Hell, Live Evil, and Mob Rules. So, you know, several great Dio era records. And then you can also pick up the Heaven and Hell album that came out in 2007 called The Devil You Know. You know, it's a pretty good record too. I don't necessarily think it's on par with these, but, you know, it's decent. And of course, you know, there's a litany of Dio and other Black Sabbath out there that you can choose from. You know, I've got a lot of the Dio records too, but, you know, I didn't want to bore you guys with just, you know, flashing my vinyl collection. But anyway, so that's all I got this time. Hopefully you liked that. If you did, check out my channel. Go ahead and subscribe. I've got other videos out there. I've got concert footage from some festivals I've been to. I've got the rest of my Lost Classic and unboxing series. And if you're into disc golf, I've got some really, really mediocre disc golf played by, with featuring some very mediocre players, myself included. Anyway, subscribe, check me out, check out my other videos on this channel, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.